Hey, if you're watching this, you're probably at your 9 to 5. You're probably working a 9 to 5. You're probably about to go into your 9 to 5. But just remember, while you're working, before you go in, or even after you just got out, don't forget your why and why you're doing this. You don't want to be at that job forever. You want to be basically working for yourself. You want to make millions. You want to make thousands of dollars. You don't want to be on someone else's schedule. You want to choose when you clock in or out. You get to choose when you're going to work. You get to choose when you're off. You got to spend time with your family. You got to spend time, more time with your kids, more time with your wife, more time with your girlfriend, boyfriend, whatever. More time with your significant other. That's why you're doing that. I'm working basically at my 9 to 5 right now. I'm on my lunchtime. I don't care. I figured I'd knock out a video really quick, just because I need to be reminded, and then also whoever's watching this video needs to be reminded why they're doing it. Nobody wants to be stuck at a job that they hate for the rest of their lives. And just remember, if you're not doing what you're supposed to do, like for example, for me not recording this video, I'm telling the universe, I'm telling whoever that I want to be at that job, that I want to be stuck there, but I don't. That's why I took it upon myself to, you know what, let me eat real quick instead of being comfortable scrolling through my phone. Let me go ahead and knock out a video and put the work in. You know what I mean? We got to put the work in. That's how we're going to get ahead. That's how you're going to escape that 9 to 5. If you don't know who I am, my name is Michael, also known as Mike Martin. I'm basically started this channel as an aspiring entrepreneur. I'm basically in the process of starting my handcrafted leather goods business, and also this YouTube channel. This YouTube channel is also something that I'm doing, that I'm creating, kind of just to document my journey, to show someone like, hey, this guy's starting from literally nothing and working himself up to where he is today. So if you're watching this, you're probably really, really early into my journey, which is cool. I like that. You know, I like being able to see someone's beginning to end, to really see how they made it and how they did it. If that's something that interests you, shoot, I suggest you subscribe or drop a comment, leave a like. That'd be awesome. But yeah, let's go back into the topic. That 9 to 5, it's just funding whatever whatever you really want to do. That 9 to 5 is funding that YouTube channel, that business, that or even if you just want to quit that job and start another job. But regardless, if you're like me, you want to start a YouTube channel, you want to start a business around that YouTube channel, and you don't want to do the mundane tasks of everyday work, commuting. I hate commuting. I hate driving to work. I hate having to feel like I need to leave on someone else's schedule, leave my house in a hurry, raise my cortisol levels for some other company that does not give a fuck about you. But nonetheless, it serves its purpose. I'm not saying 9 to 5s are a bad thing necessarily. Jobs are a great thing. They teach you a lot. But if you can get up every day, clock in and out for somebody else, why wouldn't you do that for your own dreams and for your own goals, for your own aspirations? We are so easily okay with someone else telling us when to clock in, when to clock out, when to go eat, which is crazy, when to nourish your body. They tell you when you're allowed to nourish your body. They tell you how much you're going to make. They're in charge of that. They basically dictate your worth, and you're out here clocking out and basically sleeping. You're like getting out of work, maybe eating, going to sleep, playing video games, watching TV, scrolling on your phone, whatever. And you're doing that, and the next day you're going to do it all over again until you break that cycle, which is what I'm doing right now. I'm a little bit out of my comfort zone. I'm talking and my neighbors can hear me freaking talking or whatever, but I really don't care. I think that's when that change happens, is when you start that mental shift to say, like, I don't care anymore. If someone were to hand you $1 million right now, but they said, you got to record yourself for 500 days straight, are you going to do it? I think you would do it. But nonetheless, whoever is watching this, working that 9 to 5, remember your why. Is it your kids? Is it a Lambo? Is it freedom? Is it traveling? You know, is it for your mom? Is it for your dad? Maybe you have a sick loved one that you really want to do that for him. Maybe you have a boss that you freaking hate. Maybe you have coworkers you freaking hate, but you want to get out of that. You want to get out of that environment, or you want to get ahead for somebody else in your situation. You know, for me, it's my wife, my kids. They deserve everything. They deserve all that and more. And then second, you know, it's for me. It's for me. My happiness is just as important as anybody else's. You know, and if you're watching that, that's why you gotta lock in. You gotta lock in. But yeah, I'm on my lunch right now. I don't care. I'm doing it anyways. Whoever's watching this, I encourage you to do the same. Whenever you get a chance to, especially if it's YouTube, especially if it's some sort of content creation, if you have time to, like, just pull out your phone. You don't need the fanciest equipment. You don't need the fanciest editing software. You don't need the fanciest audio equipment. Like, just do it. Just start messy and just post. That's basically where I'm at right now. Today is July 1st. My first son, I'm expecting my fourth kid this month, by the end of this month. And I'm trying to get ready, man. Like, I want to have something built at least by the time my son is a little bit older. I want to be full time. You know, this is my last child. I don't want to be working all the time like I was for all of my other kids. You know, I don't want that. You know, my oldest is 10 years old. I want her to go to school, and I want her, when she goes into middle school, when she goes into high school, have whatever she wants. Unlike me, like, I didn't have all that. I went to school with dirty clothes. I went to school with old clothes. I never had new stuff. And I want my kids to have all that and more. You know, this is why I have to remind myself every day, no matter if I'm not feeling good, if I'm sick, if I'm anxious, if I'm depressed, like, if something's going on with, you know, outside in my personal life, whether I'm having a bad day at work, whatever, whether I had like a long strenuous day at work, you know, freaking, I don't care. It's post a video, do or die, no matter what, you know. And then also work on my handcrafted goods business, you know, some way, somehow, like cut out some leather, cut out something. So just to show you guys just real quick, this is what I make. I make like card holders and wallets and stuff. I've sold, you know, I've sold a little bit over $200 now. It's a start. I've only been doing it for like 6 months or so. But I've invested a lot of time and money, you know, and something's going to work. As long as you invest that time and that money, you know, something has to work. Something has to stick, you know. If you really enjoyed this video, you know, feel free to subscribe, leave a comment, whatever. I'm not doing this for anything other than just to motivate someone else out there, and also to hold myself accountable to, you know, achieve the things that I want to achieve. But nonetheless, I appreciate you guys watching, and have a good day.